Right, now for the HTML series of tutorials on TutTut, I'm going to begin by taking you through an existing HTML file. Now, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language and is a way of writing your site design into code so that it can be displayed as a website or a web page within a browser. So we'll start with the doc type, which is a declaration of the type of HTML file it is. In this case, we're using XHTML 1.0 with a strict doc type, which is used for validation and is as opposed to transitional. Now, HTML and head are tags that we use ever present in, they should be in any HTML file. So the head tag, we also include the title. The title is actually what appears in the browser bar at the top of your browser. So in this case, it's tuttut.com, the home of online software tutorials. This is JavaScript, which I won't burden you with, considering we're just starting off with HTML. Right, now the div. The div is used to contain content, whether it be images, logos, links, text, or anything else for that matter. It's good practice to, whenever you bring anything into a HTML file, to put it in its own separate div for flexible placement, marking, and to give it an ID, which is its own unique thing. So for example, div ID for this one is logo, because this is actually what it is. We're going to put the logo into this div. So we've given it its own unique ID. We've specified an image source, which is basically where we get the image from. We should have put the image in our images folder in the root directory, as you can see on the left here, and it needs to be perfect. So we put the name of the folder within the root directory followed by a slash, and then the file name perfectly written out, otherwise it won't display. Style equals border none is used because in some browsers, notably Internet Explorer, sometimes image links display with a blue bar around them, which obviously isn't desirable in a lot of situations. An alt tag is basically a brief description of what the image is or what the graphic is, mainly used for people with visual impairment and that sort of thing, but it also just adds a bit more semantics to the code itself. And we've used an image link here, and the way we do that is we just put an anchor, which is displayed by this A, and the closing A. Closing tag should be used whenever an opening tag has been used. The one exception to this, or one of the exceptions to this, is the image source, whereby you just put the slash and the end chevron at the end. But generally for divs or anchors or paragraph tags, we need to put a slash ending tag. So the anchor, which is used for a link, and the href, which is basically where we want it to link to. In this case, the logo, or generally for all websites, the logo should probably link to the home page, which is generally called index. As you can see here, the index.html file, which is in the root directory, which we put in speech marks. So that's covered the basics of divs, anchors, and images. But let's say, for example, you don't want to use an image link for which you would just use the anchor. You want to make a list of links, which is what we do for a navigational menu. So, for example, UL stands for unordered list, and navigation on a site is literally just a list of links. We give this an ID so that we can define it in the CSS, and then each list item ID we give something unique again, and then we do the same with the anchor href. So the anchor and then the href for where we want the link to go, so it could be index.html or about.html. The title is similar to an alt tag, it's sort of a brief description, and then afterwards obviously we need our closing anchor and list item tags. So that's covered the basics of navigation. Now for text, for example, text we put in its own div, which we can give a unique ID to, and any sort of text within any sort of site needs to go within p tags unless it's a header. Now p tags stand for paragraph, so we put a starting p tag and an ending p tag, and then we put our desired text in the middle of these with a br tag, which is a line breaker. We need to include this br tag because otherwise the text will be displayed just in a generic block. Thank you very much. That was the basics of HTML.